You know what it is? We are absolutely covered up in smoke again from the wildfires down in California. Today is October the 1st of 2020, and I woke up this morning and was just overwhelmed by how much smoke is up here today. I went outside and was, probably should not have done that, as you could tell. So I'm drinking some hibiscus tea, and I'm hoping that I can snap out of it. My heart just breaks for those people. I don't know how I guess it's just unimaginable until it happens to you. So, I'm going to try to get through this video. I believe I know what this is, and I believe I know what this is. Both of these are things that I have ordered, and will help me with my projects that are coming up in the next few days. I'm kind of excited about this one, and I'm really excited about this one right here, this little flat one here. I'm going to try to edit out all the coughs. I mean, there's just nothing I can do. It's so bad. I mean, here's a thought for you. I woke up and I thought, did I leave something on the stove? But that's how smoky it was in this house. And we don't have any windows open, so, Anyway, I'm going to stop complaining. Alright, so first thing I need to do is find my paper cutting scissors. So we'll start with this guy. These are both things that I ordered. Nothing is sponsored. I have no affiliation with anything or anyone, entity of any type. So this is strictly mine. Yep, I can see it. I know what it is. And I don't know if it's going to work. Let me move my bright red tea out of the way. I absolutely love this. I hope that it will work. I'm going to have to see if it grows on me. I do not know what that noise is. It sounds like a huge angry bee. But I think it's a piece of equipment. We're very close to the sound, and we get a lot of weird noises from the water. Like, fairy horns and stuff. Okay. So, the cool thing is if I don't use it for the table runner, it's awesome enough that I can use it for something. This is what is referred to as ticking, and it is twill. It's not a fake print ticking. It's an actual, real, heavy-duty ticking. Okay, so this one, that's weird. It has a handwritten label on it. Okay. Also, I ordered this on Amazon, so they're both an Amazon item. Should I have? Okay. I would have kept that, but it was covered in dirt, which is kind of odd. I don't know why. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I spent a little time with the focus, and we'll see. We'll just see what happens. So this is the pattern that I ordered. The view that I plan to make is view C right here. And I'll be using the corduroy daisy print. I really love hibiscus tea. It's so soothing. So I got my thread to hem the curtains with, which I will do today, and get those. Either I'll take them over today or sometime this weekend. And I wanted to work on this little project. I've gotten, I think, I believe I have all of the French knots done. Let me look. Was that a French knot? No, that's a different color. Okay. So if you haven't seen this yet, this was a project I think I might have done a video when I received it like 3 days ago. I'll try to remember to link the description for the video and where I purchased this underneath the description below this video. But it's basically 3 ovals that you embroider, and as you can see they're relatively small, all 3 of them. And the reason for that is they are in fact sort of a vintage look necklace that you put together once you get this embroidered, as you can see right there. So I am making one for each of my daughters and then one for myself out of this package. The kit came with everything: the chains, you know, to turn it into a necklace, the floss, the needles, the beads, the jump rings, everything you need, the lobster clasps, they're all in here. And additionally, a small concept book, you know, how to do certain embroidery stitches. And the cardboard to cut out that you then glue right there to the medallion, metal medallion piece, and then you attach this to that, and then you make your necklace, and there you go. Alright, so let's do a stitch real quick. Spot where the French knot is supposed to be made, and I'm leaving a rather long tail, and I can because I know there's no way that these 3 little medallions are going to use this amount of floss. I don't feel like I'm being wasteful. Okay, and then I'm going to go back down, all the way down, and then I'm going to cross over this tail, and I'm going to do the same thing again, making sure that I'm going back into that first spot, and I'm crossing over that tail, kind of holding it down in place. And one more time, and now I'm going to come up through the middle of those like that. And you just kind of have to pull that thread up, and then I'm going to make my French knot. 1, 2, 3, and you can do 3 or 4 if you want a super visible French knot. I recommend 4, which I just did. You know, you just kind of have to decide. Okay, so there's that French knot right there. And I'm just going to cut this tail. I don't need it. Now the glue that they provide will definitely help hold all of your stitches in place. So, you know, if you get one that has a really short tail and you're not really comfortable cutting it, just remember that that glue will help hold the stitches in place. Okay, and there are a few others in this lemon color, I believe. There's one right up there. If I am not mistaken, that is it for the French knots. And it says 6 strands. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So we just make the traditional little starfish shape, and I'm going to go from the center to the outer edges, catching the tail like I've been doing. And you can turn your needle around so that you're using the eye to do the weaving. So you just go under and then over the next one and skip that one and go under. So you're basically weaving into the spokes and out of the spokes. Like so. And that is the only spiderweb rose in this color. So on this particular project. There we go. And the next large flower is a Bullion Rose. I'm going to go ahead and do the lazy daisy stitches and get those out of the way. I'm on the final floss stitching. That's a lot of stitches there, but okay. And the last thing to do on that one would be the beads. I cannot remove this embroidery until I have completed the other two, for obvious reasons. but I think once I cut it out and apply it and get it put into the frame, it will be quite pretty. I might do some more beading in these blank spots with some of the beads that I have. I think it kind of needs to be filled up a little bit. Maybe by the time you wrap it. Yeah, I'll just wait. So if you've never used a sewing pattern before, or one of the big three, McCall's, Simplicity, Butterick, some say big four, McCall's, Simplicity, Butterick, Vogue, and some include Quick Sew. There's really, in my opinion, there's no difference between any of them. Basically, other than maybe the directions, I've never really seen too many differences, except for one. And I don't know if it's just me or if anybody else has noticed this as well. But in all the years that I've been sewing, and it's been a long, long time, the only pattern that I've ever found that comes close to the actual size of the body that you're trying to sew for, if you're making clothing items, is Butterick. And that's even over Vogue. I have used Vogue patterns, I've used Butterick, I've used Simplicity, McCall's, Quick Sew, Berta, and of course all of the heirloom, Ginger Snaps, Children's Corner, Cherry Williams, Ellen McCarn. This is what you see when you open up the pattern. It is tissue paper, and most of them are going to have multiple sizes included in the pattern envelope. So for example, this one is size AX, and that includes sizes for women 4, 6, and 8. The pattern pieces will have the name of the pattern, so it's McCall's, the number of the pattern, 7526, the size range. It will have the piece number. This happens to be the waistband right here for A or B. And then all of the information that pertains to that particular piece that you have to have in order to make the skirt look like A or B on the front of this pattern envelope. I recommend that you use scissors that you only use to cut paper with. You would not want to use your fabric scissors to cut out the pattern. And what I usually do is I just take the whole entire thing apart and try to figure out, okay, so here's one big huge thing. Here's one big huge thing. And here is the final big huge thing. So I need to look on this final piece and see, do I have pattern pieces that pertain to the skirt that I'm planning to make? So for skirt back A, for skirt back C, yes, right here is one, and skirt front A and skirt back E. So the only one that applies to the skirt I'm making is this right here. This, and I've just set aside. I'm not getting rid of it, I just don't need to deal with it right now. Okay, so the second big blob of paper right here. I need to see what I need off of it. Alright, there's skirt front E I don't need. Here is skirt front C. I need this. Now sometimes you'll get a pattern that will say skirt front A, skirt front C, and it will have a specific size associated, even though it's a multi-size pattern. So that's another thing. You might cut out skirt front C size 4 and skirt back C size 6. So you just need to be aware. One real quick way to tell if you're cutting out a single size pattern is you won't see 3 sets of lines or 3 notches. It will be a single line and that's it. So if you see those things, then you know, oh, okay, here's a waistband for C. I need that. Alright, so next I am going to go ahead and cut this out. And again, I'm not using big scissors. I'm using what I call my paper scissors. So of course I am trying to write the words, there we go, 6 on there. And I'll do my pattern walkthrough for this once I've gotten everything cut out and ready to go. This is vintage, actual real vintage corduroy. It's a baby whale or superfine, whichever you want to call the cotton baby whale. But it has, on the cross grain, it has quite a bit of stretch. So when I cut this out, I'll need to be very careful about getting, I've got to watch for the ease, got to watch for the stretch, and make sure that the waistband, the skirt, and everything are cut so that if I need ease, I've got it. If I don't want to have the skirt, cut the wrong way. The corduroy is running this direction, and generally speaking, when you stitch with corduroy, you stitch on the straight grain, which it's running in this direction. So there will be a slight amount of ease around the waist. I don't know if you can see that, but there's some stretch right there. There usually is. Of course, naturally, you would not want to cut this on the bias. It just would not work well at all. But I think it will be an adorable fall skirt. The autumn colors within the flowers are really pretty, and then it's got that little pop of pinky purple in there. So there's that. Good old snap out of it hibiscus tea. Alrighty, so that's that project, and I'll be right back. Alright, so this is the piece that I've removed from the curtain that I'm going to be hemming, and we're going to do a couple of tests. So I'm going to fold it and fold it and just see what happens with this sewing machine needle. I've loaded up, excuse me, I've loaded up the thread that I plan to use. I'm going to get you where you can see. Okay. Put this machine and needle down, straight stitch. This fabric is very thick and feels odd to me. This is a regular 2.5 stitch, and it is so too close. I'm gonna have to probably go to a 4. Okay, it looks like that's what they used, almost identical to what they might have used. All right, and my needle is definitely leaving a large hole in the fabric. So this is my stitching right here, and this is the stitching from the manufacturer. So let me get mine back up here so we can compare them. All right, top one is from the manufacturer, and the bottom one is mine. So this is the outside manufacturer. This is the outside. Don't look at this. This is where I first started at a 2.5. It's horrible. So maybe even, I might even need to do like a 5. The top is the manufacturer. The bottom is mine. So let's go with a 5 and see what that looks like. Okay. Move that up. It really doesn't appear to have any trouble going through the fabric. Okay, so that's mine starting here underneath this black thread. So about right here is mine on the inside, and mine at 5 on the outside. And over here, this is the manufacturer's 5 on the outside and 5 on the inside. Now, one thing I can say that I've noticed, it's weird because at 4, At 4, it doesn't appear to be puckering the fabric as much. At 5, you almost get an instant puckering like the manufacturer did. So I'm going to try an even longer stitch length. to see if that does anything. I'll leave a space so we know exactly where that change happens. Okay. So this is 5. This, starting here, is longer than 5. I'm just sewing anywhere. I am trying to stay sewing through the same thickness. So it's the original fabric folded over and then folded over again. So it's 3 layers of the fabric. So this is the finished product times 1. I have 2 I have to do. I'm going to use this as a guideline for the second one. The project went pretty much like I thought it would. It is hemmed at the desired length, and the fabric is very strange. I will show you, not on the curtain, but on the scrap. I did a lot of testing, as you know. But this is, and maybe people are familiar with this. I'm not, because generally speaking, I work with natural fibers. I mean, I realize that this serves a purpose. And on a window where you're trying to block light, bingo, right there. It's definitely going to outstrip, Barissima or linen or, fine cotton, even a twill. Twill would let light through, but not this. Nope. That is going to keep the light out. So it definitely serves a purpose, and I can see where you would want that in certain situations. But and again, it wasn't difficult to stitch. It just picked a lot, and even their stitching did that. It wasn't just my home domestic sewing machine and my sewing machine needle. It was mine as well as theirs was leaving a a mark on this side. Now see, on this side it didn't do it as much, but over here going in this direction, well, let's try that. Let's see what happens. Why not? Okay, so going straight up and down this way, they've got just little tiny marks. So I'm going to see what mine does. Now I'm back at a 2.3, or excuse me, a 2.5. Let's see what happens. Okay. Well, there's a straight line. I don't see any stitch marks. I just see a straight line. Oh, weird. That is so strange. Wow. Okay, so let's make a bigger stitch. Let's go up to 5. Okay, so this is the wrong side of the fabric, and this is the right side of the fabric, and it was this line right here is where I increased the stitch to 5. Okay, now I'm going to fold it and stitch on 2 layers at 5. Okay, so there's mine, and this is theirs. So the one on the left is the manufactured stitch, and the one on the right, this one is mine. I don't see any difference. So domestic home sewing machine, and probably some kind of a big massive manufacturing machine. Okay. Thank you for joining me with this crazy journey, and I will see you back here. Like I said, we're going to finish up those 2 necklaces, get those put together, and then I'm going to choose another project. Maybe by then I'll have this one figured out. Alright guys, have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.